Lauren Liff, also known as Lauren the Warrior, is one of the Devil's biggest fans, continually cheering on her favorite team on her social media channels. Lauren suffers from a chronic pain condition mixed with a rare combination of other diseases. This past May, the Devils surprised Lauren with a hospital visit from Travis Zajac and NJ Devil, and our very own Arlette invited Lauren to sing the national anthem at a Devils game this season. Today, Lauren's dream of singing the national anthem here at The Rock has come true. Please turn your attention to the Zamboni corner and welcome Lauren the Warrior, accompanied by Arlette. We invite all of you to join Lauren in the singing of our national anthem.
Devils, we are back on track Sunday!
That is well put, my man. Well put.
I know. Did you like the intro? I did.
Very good. Very good intro. What's going on, Rob? Thank you for that video. Thank you, Rob. And thank you for wearing our shirt when you met Taylor Hall. That was amazing.
That was amazing. Hey, this is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season
What's up,
2,
Tim?
episode 8.
What's up, Kevin?
How many retweets would it take? Yeah, I'm trying to read my script here. The power's going in and out at the Let's Go Devils podcast bunker studio. In the bunker. We got a big podcast tonight. Facebook Live is starting to file in. Kevin Weeks, Tim, Rob, Bobby Shaft. Is that Bobby Shaft? Yeah, I think I'm reading that right. Justin. They're all piling in. This is going to be a great podcast. Our special guest, Lauren Liff, last night's national anthem singer. Sorry, Beer Baron, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm going to my monologue right now.
That was me interrupting you. You keep going.
Okay, let me just keep going on right now. So we got Lauren Liff, last night's national anthem singer. By the way, if anybody's noticed, Shorts Guy is on assignment right now. As a matter of fact, I actually on the Facebook the Facebook page, I put up a picture of him and Cangelosi. Tonight's assignment for Shorts Guy was to deliver the Let's Go Devils podcast T-shirt to Steve Cangelosi. We may have Shorts Guy a little bit later tonight on the podcast, but we wanted to say that Shorts Guy is on assignment. Beer Baron, you were laughing, and what were you laughing about?
Sorry, I was chuckling because I got to go back and see who said it. Oh, Gary said Sam is very loud, loving it. So it's nice to see. I have to tell you guys, we love the interaction. We do read everything live. We try to comment or talk to you guys as we're doing the show. So keep them coming in, because sometimes you get a lot of really nice little gems in there. And I'll tell you what, if you're having a beer and you're having a beer with me right now, just write in cheers, because here's to all you guys. Here, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing fans out there, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And we're shorthanded today, but you know what? We'll have to deal. Right, Beer Baron?
Hey, man. And you know what's pretty sweet? He Shorts Guy is he's a multi-dimensional man, and he is a huge part of the Red Bulls, and we support him as much as he supports the team. So it's sad not to have him here, but he's here in spirit.
Yeah, so we gotta plug away. We gotta pay a couple bills right now. So to let you guys know that we are streaming live, welcoming all those listening live on letsgodevils.com. As fans are filing into the YouTube live chat room and also the Facebook live. We're actually, that's where we're on. We're on Facebook Live. You can find us at Let's Go Devils Podcast. Also, I put up a little story of how this podcast started, because I've been getting a lot of inquiries and questions like, how the heck did you guys start this? Well, I just did a little type up. My wife was nice enough to edit my grammar mistakes, my misspellings, broken links, all that crap. I appreciate that. Thank you to my wife. And also share the Facebook Live link onto your news feed, onto other Facebook groups that are relevant. I don't want you guys to put this in the Nashville Predators Facebook group like I did that one time and got all these Nashville Predator fans just trash all the Rangers groups. Put them in there too. They'll learn to love us. They're going to find out who we are when we go to MSG. Also, Beer Baron, I know I sound a little excited right now because of the Devils' victory. We'll go on and talk about that a little bit later, but we're still paying our bills right now, and we're going to plug. So share the Facebook link to your friends, family, enemies, whatever. Just share. Also, you can find us on Twitter and Periscope at Let's Go Devils Pod. Again, it's at Let's Go Devils Pod. What happened to the cast? Well, 15 characters or less. We can't control that. If you have a problem, you should email Twitter. I don't get it, but we are at Let's Go Devils Pod for both Twitter and Periscope. Also, you can find us on our YouTube channel, YouTube Live. Subscribe. Just go to the search engine. Visit us at our Let's Go Devils channel. Just search us, Let's Go Devils Podcast. You can get all our archives. And I don't even pay attention to this, but we just added it. We're also on Twitch.
Hey, man, you never know.
Twitch.
We're going to blow up on Twitch.
We're going to blow up on Twitch. I looked at it the other day for the first time, Beer Baron, and
3 people.
It looks a little sad and lonely.
Hey,
I almost want to play the Titanic music, but hey, we'll try the Twitch thing.
Hey,
maybe we'll play NHL 94.
Keep it going. You can find us on all sorts of different platforms. And Tim was saying he's a blogger as well, so he knows. We want to welcome Lauren, who's watching right now. What's up, Lauren? We'll talk to you in a little bit. Honestly, let's talk about the game against the old Fancy Cats. Why don't we? First of all, wait. Time out. I have to interrupt.
All right. We actually, I know we started this podcast all rambunctious and this and that, but this is actually pretty serious. Before we begin, and this is we have to pay our respects. We want to offer our condolences to the victims of the shooting at Pittsburgh. Our rivals, Pittsburgh Penguins, have actually really stepped up and made a series of donations, one to the Jewish Federation of the Greater Pittsburgh Area and Pittsburgh Department of Public Safety to benefit the 4 Pittsburgh police officers that were shot in the line of duty. And we just want to say that all these police officers, emergency responders, are our heroes, and we commend the Pittsburgh Penguins and to recognizing the law enforcement, and they're also going to be hosting a blood drive as well, for the victims. And this podcast, and I know Devils fans all around, I want you guys in the Facebook Live to send your love, but we joined with the Pittsburgh Penguins and standing up to hate and violence. So we just wanted to put that in there before we begin, this podcast. And okay, Beer Bear, sorry to interrupt, but that was important, as you know. But let's talk about the Devils mauling of the Panthers yesterday, because that's exactly what it was. Let's start there.
Well, I agree completely with all the sentiments that you just said. That our thoughts and prayers are going out to the Jewish community, and especially the Jewish community in Pittsburgh. And it's just a senseless tragedy. And we've done this a few times, and I hate to say it, but you know what? Let's take this podcast. Let's use it as a distraction from all the crazy things that are happening in the world. Let's talk a little bit about Devils hockey, and especially let's talk about this nice win that we just had. Although that third period started to give me I puckered up a little bit, because it's getting a little shaky in the third. And I know John Hines is saying, these are some of the things that they need to tighten up. We saw it happen in Colorado. We saw it happen in Philadelphia, or against Colorado and in Philadelphia. And then we saw it against Nashville as well, where, the game sometimes it seems to get away from us a little bit in the third period. They played really good against Nashville. I thought that was one of the better games that they had during this year. And, it was unfortunate. Johansson takes that penalty. Arvidsson scores that goal. I think it was Arvidsson. It was golly, where's number 9? Come on. My brain is like dead right now. That's what happens when you watch Giants football. Your brain just goes dead. Forsberg. Thank you. There we go. It was Forsberg who scored the goal. And I mean, it was like a backbreaker. They played really well throughout the game, and it just felt like that was one of those moments where, like, we got him on the ropes. We get this dumb penalty. It sucks when that stuff happens. Then they have the game against the Panthers. First period did not look good. It did not start off good. Once again, they were in penalty trouble. And I have to say that Bryce Salvador put up an interesting stat in between the first and second, which showed the total ice time of the first line, which was like 4 minutes and change, or like just above 4 minutes. And you can't have your first line only getting 4 minutes of ice time, because that's where you're going to find yourself getting put into a hole. They're lucky. Keith Kincaid made some pretty incredible saves in that first period against the old Fancy Cats, and they escaped 0-0. And then the second period they came out, and it was like a completely different team. But then the third came around, and it seemed like they were comfortable with that 3-0 lead, and they kind of like sat back on their heels a little bit. So honestly, that's one of those games that we're glad we got the 2 points, but they could have sealed it up. Blake Coleman 2 games in a row having a shorthanded breakaway, and he just couldn't bury the biscuit. So I'm sure he's going to find a few of those throughout the year that he's actually going to connect on, and it's an improvement. They're no longer on a skid, so they're going in the right direction again.
Yeah. Also, if the Facebook Live and YouTube Live and Periscope viewers seeing that the light's kind of flashing in the background, the electric is actually going in and out right now at the bunker studio.
Don't lie, that's just a strobe. That's a strobe effect.
Yeah. Something tells me there may be a Ranger fan, sabotaging this podcast. But no, I you know what? I had some thoughts about it, because like last night's game, or yesterday's matinee game, sorry, the 2 goals that the Florida Panthers scored, I mean, were they garbage goals? I don't think they were garbage goals. Look, the Devils, we've traditionally, known as a defensive team. Well, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, Ken Danico, all these guys have moved on. They're retired. They're, Hall of Famers, this and that. Jersey's retired. Even Thursday night, I just think that this team defensively plays better when they're more aggressive. I think they just sat back, just sat back. It just almost like let it happen. Like there was no aggressiveness in the third period, and I mean, yes, I know who lost the stick. Which defense was it? Severson that lost the stick for that last goal against the Panthers.
Yeah, when they scored with 14 seconds left.
Yeah, Paul Barry. I think it was Paul Barry that tried to block it. Yeah.
Yeah. You go ahead.
No, so again, it's kind of they're kind of weak in the third period. If they don't have a big lead, just like against the Nashville Predators, they don't have much of a cushion, and they lost in overtime. Right, and I know next year in Nashville they're going to have a freaking banner how they came back against the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah,
they're going to have this big banner.
They won the Pacific. Yeah, oh my God, that's the most embarrassing thing in the entire world. They won a Pacific. Yeah. We won the Pacific Division with points, not actually winning the Pacific. Like the Western Conference or whatever.
What would this banner look like? It'd be like, we beat Sam Wu's team in overtime, on their ice, something like that. Then they'll raise the banner. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's some really good comments in the Facebook group. It seems like Stacey White said the third period scares her, or that's true. Third period recently scares all of us. It seemed Bobby Schaff says it doesn't seem like they can play a full 60. I mean, it's early in the year, and that's the thing is like they still have 5 wins. You know what I mean? So they still have, they've still been putting up points, so they're in a good position. If they were 1-8 or 1-6 or something like that right now, and they were doing this, it would be a bit of a concern. But they're scoring enough goals to cover up for their mistakes. So I think one of the things about the Devils is that yes, they do need to play a full 60. Somebody was also saying. They need a defenseman too, and that's true too. Eric Greiba, the first game that they brought him up, he did not have a really solid game, and putting him on the penalty kill, it's like he's a big body, he's blocking shots, and he was playing all right defensively, but he was out of position a few times. I feel like this past game against Florida, he had a better game. I felt like he got a lot better. I think bringing up Joey Anderson was a huge, huge move, and I feel like Quenneville wasn't playing terrible, but Coach Hines wanted to see something more out of him. He said, before he sent him back down, is that he is, basically not taking advantage of his opportunities when he has the puck. And he needs to kind of iron out some of those issues when he goes back down to the minors. One of the things that he needs to do is he needs to get somebody up here that we know is going to stay. Because you got to think about it like this. There's going to be some question marks when Bratt comes back. When Bratt comes back, who goes? It's more than likely going to be Rooney. When Mojo's done being sick, then I guess that other spot that's filled by Anderson is going to be taken. So who do you keep up? Do you keep Anderson with the big club and, shuffle him into the lineup every once in a while for a change of pace? I feel like the kid has kind of gotten, should get the opportunity. There's just a lot of things that this team is trying to find themselves still. It's really early in the season. And we know, like we saw last year, who here in this group could honestly say that they saw that, Henrique was going to get traded for Vatanen, which still, if you look at it now, is one of the better trades, besides the one-on-one, obviously, or one-for-one. That Vatanen trade has been huge so far this season because he is eating up a ton of ice time and has been, one of the cornerstones of this defense. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things early in the season. Let's kind of let some things kind of settle down and work their way out. And anybody that hates on Zacha, that drives me crazy. Anybody that hates on Zacha, that dude's defensive play has been on point. He hasn't scored yet, but he's coming close. So he's just snaking. I'm telling you, dude. No, you his defensive game has been pretty on point. And especially when we lost track.
No. I'm just only kidding about because you said he's going to score and
he will.
And that was like after I just like glanced down at the AHL statistics, Mikey McLeod being 9th on the list. But anyway, so, sorry, I had to take
Mikey McLeod.
You had to take that shot. Anyway, our special guest is on the Nova Product Design hotline. She is a self-described plant nerd. I read that, I think, on NJ.com article. She also sang the national anthem with Arlette. Actually, Arlette was standing right by her, but I think Arlette was singing along. We love Arlette, and she did a great job. But right now on the Nova Product Hotline is Lauren Liff. Lauren, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Lauren, you had a big day yesterday at the Devils game, Panthers. Were you nervous at all? Just, well, I'm sure you were, just to do the national anthem, having it be on your bucket list.
I was nervous, but it was one of those things where like I got up to the mic and I looked around the arena and I don't know, the Devils are like my family, they kind of took all the nerves away from me. So I just got super excited and I felt like I was home. So it was more excitement and adrenaline than nerves.
Lauren, how you doing? This is Scott. I have to tell you that not only have I've been following your story since I've kind of come across you on Twitter, but there's so many people. Rob, who's one of our biggest fans here, wanted to say hello. There's so many people here that are such huge fans of you, and it's kind of amazing how much of an inspiration that you've become to a lot of fans out there. I want to ask you, one of the coolest things was watching how Travis Zajac came to the hospital to see you. What was that like? Like, what was it like when they came into the room, him and NJ, and what did you guys talk about?
Oh my gosh. They walked into the room and I started crying. Like, I did not expect it. And I mean, the video online and it's embarrassing because it's me crying. But it was huge. I mean, I never thought that the tweet would go viral. I mean, you're sitting in a hospital bed and there's nothing on TV and the food sucks. And I was really bored. So I just kind of sent out the tweet and all of a sudden, next thing I know, Travis Ajac's like walking in the room. He's like, "Hi, I'm Travis." I'm like, "I know." We talked about, like his family and my family, my son, and my health, and we started talking about my bucket list and all these things that I want to do. And I've been keeping a bucket list since I was like 20. I think I have like 200 and something items on that list.
Oh,
Some
that's
of them
amazing.
are crossed off. But I don't know if I'll actually get to accomplish all of them, but I'm going to try.
It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Like you were just mentioning, you threw that tweet out there, not knowing like what would happen from it. And I think it's pretty awesome that somebody, got their hands on it. The right person was able to read it and things kind of clicked together. How incredible does it feel like, putting your story out there and then just seeing the response from all the different Devil fans out there?
Honestly, it was, I'm not kind of really the person that likes to be, in the spotlight. My main goal on Twitter and pretty much all my social media pages is I like to spread hope and inspiration, because there are hundreds of people who are going through the same diseases that I have, or similar conditions, or conditions that are worse than mine. And if I can at least, give hope to, a couple of them, or inspire a couple of them, you know, that makes me feel good. That's really what I want. I want to spread that positivity. I mean, especially in the world that we live in today, everything is so dark, and I just wanted to, you know, kind of be a little bit of a ray of sunshine if I can.
So, Lauren, so when Travis came, did he come with a bag of swag or some gifts and all that?
Yeah.
Now what was in that? What was in that bag? I was always wondering, like, what was in that goodie bag that Travis brought to you?
Let's see. I got some bobbleheads, a rally rag. I'm trying to think of what else I got. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Some pucks. A lot of autographs.
Oh, I can imagine.
There's a picture on my Instagram of like all the stuff that they brought. Like I like laid it out all on the hospital bed.
That is so
very,
cool.
like, emotionally overwhelming.
So, all right. So let's dial back all the way back to when you became a Devils fan. So how did you become such a big Devils fan? Is there somebody that introduced you to the game? Was it a part of your family? How did you become a fan?
My dad took me to my first Devils game. My dad's actually a Montreal fan. But going to take me to Canada to see a hockey game. So he took me to Continental and watched the Devils game. And I don't know, it was, he started walking down to the seats, and I froze. And it was the smell of the ice and hearing the skates and hearing the pucks and just the atmosphere was like falling in love. And every single time I walk into a Devils game, I get that same exact feeling. And just, I get chills, I get goosebumps. It's like going to my first game all over again, even though I've been there thousands of times.
It's like coming home. That's how it feels like for me. Every time I go to a Devils game, I feel like I'm walking into my house. That like warm, comfortable feeling.
Exactly. Exactly.
Lauren, I have a question. So I read, and I think it was said that now Arlette invited you to sing the national anthem. Am I correct on that?
Yes. When the Devils came to see me in the hospital, I think I guess they posted it on the Devils website.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
Arlette posted a video saying, like, oh, we'll have my people contact your people. And then I ended up getting an email, I think it was like the end of last week. And they're like, hey, you want to sing the anthem at the game on Saturday? And I was like, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Now, Lauren, is this something that you singing the national anthem, it's on your bucket list? Is this something that you've rehearsed like 15,000 times in the last few years? Or, I mean, that's, that would catch me off guard if someone said, hey, you want to sing the national anthem? It's like,
I wanted to do this since I was 5 years old. I mean, I used to sit in the backseat of my grandparents' car, and my papa used to have me sing the national anthem.
That's awesome.
I guess they liked hearing me sing. So like that was it's like my go-to shower song, which I know can get incredibly annoying because I'm sure nobody else wants to hear the national anthem being sung in the shower every single day. But I've been practicing this song like almost every day since I was 5 years old. It's been my dream. When I was 5, I didn't really know about hockey or the Devils or anything like that. I just knew I wanted to do it at a major sporting event. And then when I went to the Devils game, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to sing it at a Devils game. I didn't know it was actually going to happen. But I've been practicing this song forever.
So tell us, like, what it was like. You got to the arena. You're talking to. I'm assuming that you're talking to the staff, and you're with Arlette, and you walk out of the tunnel, and Arlette's walking with you. And I mean, what's going through your mind when you're going through that tunnel and all these Devils fans are cheering your name, screaming? What was that like? That feeling?
I wish I could have the words to like explain it. It was surreal to me because I've been thinking about that moment for so long, and for it to actually happen, like, I guess I felt like when I walked in, I did like the sound check, like Bryce Salvador walked by, and I was like, oh, that's Bryce Salvador. And then it's like Taylor Hall walking past. I didn't want to be all like super cheesy and start fangirling over like legendary hockey players, but like when I went in for the initial sound check, they brought me upstairs and whoever he wants to say hi. So I went upstairs to say hi, and he's like, hey, you want to meet Marty? And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh my goodness!
Down. So I was like, oh, like right now. Like, you want me to go meet him like right now?
I think
now,
like you.
Amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lauren, you're very brave because when I was little, I've always wanted to meet Martin Brodeur, and I think I finally met him. I don't know, when I was 22 years old, and I was going to say something nice and had it rehearsed in my head, and then by the time I got to him, I'm like, "Hey, Marty, you're the best player." And just completely bombed it. Just completely bombed it. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, if I were to go do this, like have this experience, I probably forget the lyrics, but you didn't forget it. I mean, you absolutely nailed it. I mean, it was awesome. And there's definitely videos out there, but it's just, I don't know how you did it because I'd be so nervous. I mean, I know I do this podcast, and even I get nervous on this podcast, and I bomb what I really want to say, for my notes and all that. But I thought that was like awesome. You executed it and nailed it.
The only thing that actually nobody knows this, because I actually didn't tell anybody this, but I was in a lot of pain, and pretty much from the night before until pretty much throughout the entire game. So I sang that anthem and went through all the interviews while I felt like I was dying.
Oh, jeez.
And I think that's part of what kept me going, is because I'm a huge advocate of the IDA, so Invisible Disabilities Association. And I mean, people look at me and I don't look sick. I get that a lot. Well, you don't look sick. But my body's constantly at war with itself. And I've gotten very good at, smiling through it. I have, I guess, I'm blessed with overwhelming positivity. And I can push through pretty much anything. But it was like, I don't know, I kept picturing, my grandparents and my family, and the fact that my son was there. I had him singing the song with me too. But he doesn't really know the lyrics, but he also called the Zamboni a Banzoni. So he was very excited. He got a chance to sit on it. So,
I gotta say, my favorite part of watching the video of after you sang and the Devils posted this was when you got to walk back to your son and you had that moment with your family, and it was just like that. You could see how proud he was of you, and to hear the whole stadium going nuts over what you did. You must have been like a rock star to him. That's got to been or had to been one of the cooler parts about the entire experience of just sharing that moment with him.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Because, I mean, even for pretty much all of the rest of the day and pretty much all day today, I think, Mommy, I'm so proud of you. 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 And he was going around, he's like, my mommy sang at the Devils game today. And he's like telling total strangers. But he's my reason for fighting. He's my biggest supporter. I mean, I don't know what I would do without that kid.
And also too, I have to tell you, you're good luck for the team. They did win when you sang the national anthem, so they're gonna have to start bringing you back every time because now you're 1-0.
Said the same thing. My son was like, "Mommy, they won because you sang, right?"
Exactly.
I mean, with the exception of the third period, I mean, like what we were saying in the beginning of the show, Beer Baird, the Devils just mauled the Panthers. I mean, they were just, that second period. I mean, they just took over, and that must be a great feeling. So after the national anthem, you saw your family. Then how did the interview come about with Erica Wachter? Was that all scheduled into the plan, or did she pull you aside to randomly out of nowhere?
I was gonna. Yeah, no, I had no idea I was gonna meet with her. I mean, I did an interview with somebody from NHL.com before I sang the anthem. I did another interview. They had us set up in a suite. Like I got the royal treatment and everything. They had me the whole game. And my parents were up in the suite and everything, which made the whole thing like 1,000 times better. But no, when she walked in, I was like, oh, she's gonna talk to me now. Every time I stood next to Arlette, and then I stood next to her. I'm like, I am really short.
That's funny.
I have to convey some messages that we have from the Facebook Live group. Janet says, "Great job." Gary says, "So happy this experience happened for you. You're an inspiration to us all." There's so many people that have been just reaching out, that have been just saying, Stacy White says, "That's awesome, girl." Like all these different things, all these different people are saying all these different things. And this is just the impact that you have. I know you said that one of your biggest hopes is that you're a beacon of light in an otherwise dark world right now. And it really is. It's true. You are, and no matter what, the things that you have to go through, the fight that you have to go through, understand that you are reaching people and touching people in such a positive way. And you've become such an inspiration that, you could always stand proud knowing that you are, always going to be one of these people that a lot of people can look to and have hope and just revere and be happy to correspond with.
No, that really means so much to me. I mean, the outreach of support that I've gotten since I guess went viral on Twitter has been absolutely amazing. And I really appreciate, people saying that I'm the inspiration and, and I give them hope and everything like that. I really love that. But what people don't realize is that it's you guys that give me the inspiration. You guys give me the strength to keep going. It's the Devils fans, the organization, my family, my friends, everything. That's the inspiration for me. The fact that I can be an inspiration is the bonus. But having all of these people, and being able to talk to other people who are going through, difficult times. I mean, I've spoken to a girl, a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, and she's going through some very rough stuff right now. And I talked to her pretty much all day. I've never met her, but she contacted me through Twitter, and she inspires me. And the woman who sings the national anthem for the Tampa Bay Lightning, she actually crocheted me 2 hats because my head does get very cold. I wanted to wear a hat when I was singing the national anthem, but they were like, "No, you don't wear a hat. You'll be good." But I didn't realize how cold the ice actually is when you have no hair.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's really honestly, it's the Devils fan base is just, I'm proud to be a Devils fan because of the organization, because of the fan base, because of it. Everybody has been so supportive. And there's times where, I try to be positive all the time, but I'm not perfect. I do have those times where, you know, I get stuck in my head and I get hard on myself, and I don't know, somebody will send me a message or something will pop up on my Facebook feed that it kicks me right out of it, you know. And without the Devils, honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I'd have a lot of free time, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know what though? It shows you like how powerful, you know, not just sports but hockey can be, and the type of community that hockey has, and that's one of the things that we cherish the most is just the community and the outreach that we have in this community of you know, just hockey fans and Devil fans alike. And you know, we would love to have you on again and just talk hockey and just kind of go over and just because one of the things I noticed is you're extremely knowledgeable of the game, and that's one of the things I appreciate the most is, like, you know, when you're a hockey fan and when you're a Devils fan, you definitely have to know what you're talking about, and you definitely do.
Yeah, no, I'm to say that I'm a Devils fan might be an understatement. My my mom is not really a sports person, so she doesn't quite understand hockey. So whenever I talk about hockey or I talk about, you know, the game or anything like that, or even when I was a couple years ago, 2012, when we were playing the Rangers in the Eastern Conference, I was actually at the game when we won the Eastern Conference, and I was talking to my mom about the game, and she's like, "Laura, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand.
You'll never understand."
I don't understand. And she's like, why are you screaming? I don't understand why you scream at the TV. Like, if I can't make it to a game, I'm that fan that, like, screams at the TV, which I'm sure tons of people can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
My son does.
So, Lauren, before we let you go, what's next on your
game? He wanted to be a fan.
Lauren, before we let you go, what's next on your bucket list?
What's next on my bucket list? Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't even remember what number 2 is. I don't remember what number 2 is. I know number 3 is to get Scott Stevens' autograph. I've met him a couple times, but I actually, like, spent time with him and hung out with him, but I never had the opportunity to ask him for his autograph.
Okay.
Kind of awkward.
Okay.
I spent July with, like, some family friends, and he taught me how to throw knives.
Cool.
So, can I have your autograph?
After you just threw a knife across the room?
Well, thank you, Lauren, for coming on to the podcast. We really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. It was an honor.
Yep. That is Lauren Liff, the Warrior, on the Let's Go Devils podcast. That was a great interview.
Yeah, dude.
Beer Baron.
You know, I gotta say, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I gotta say, you know, David in our Facebook group, he said, you know, whenever you're feeling down, you can always lean on your Devils brothers and sisters. You know, one state, one team, one family. Let's go Devils. And that is something that, honestly, there's a community in that, and there's like you know, one heartbeat with that. You know, and a lot of times I feel like as a Devils fan, especially, you know, you feel this, Sam, like when we were growing up as kids and the Devils were terrible in the 80s, like we didn't have a lot to cheer about, you know, and then the late 80s came and we made our playoff push for the first time in 88. And then, you know, Lou Lamoriello comes around and the whole culture changes, and all of a sudden you're a perennial playoff team, and then you're winning Stanley Cups, and you have, you know, the greatest goaltender of all time and all these great things. And all that being said, it's something that binds so many people together. You know, my family, my friends, I know a lot of people me and you have met because of the Devils. You know, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing gift, and sometimes it's more than just hockey. And that's a great example of that.
You know, I love doing these like fan profiles, if you want to call them, on the podcast. We had Lacey Mark, you know, a few weeks back, and you know, there's so many interesting stories within, you know, the Devils community, the fan base, that, you know, I would have never known, without this podcast. And, we try to, we try to talk to people, and, you look at the Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and, this is really cool. Like, I would have never met Rob Klabosis Jr.
He's an awesome dude.
Last Thursday. He's really cool. Arlette, let me tell you about Arlette. She sang at my wedding. It's my anniversary tomorrow. But not only did she sing at the wedding, thank you. She sang her first dance song, and she nailed it. We actually like her rendition over Anne Murray's rendition. So, and give it up for Arlette. I mean, Arlette, invited her. Arlette stood by her. Arlette sang, next to Lauren. Arlette's just a beautiful person, and going around taking selfies, at other sections, and she's just a great person, and this is what it's all about. It's not only just Devils community, but it's also a hockey community as well, that we always support each other. Especially at the time of need, like what's going on in Pittsburgh right now. So, all in all, it was just great. By the way,
you just got a lot of happy anniversaries in the group. So, you should probably say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all. Tim, Rob. Yes. She's definitely a winner and a gem, my wife. So, moving on, we have a bone to pick. Now we're going to try to get Shorts Guy on, but we got a bone to pick. But we will,
You know what?
Yeah.
Can I lead into it? Can I lead into it real quick? Because I need to say something. So
okay.
I want to lead this off. And I had a conversation with my wife about this before we went on and did the podcast tonight. And I said there was somebody that kind of put out a negative comment about what we do or what we did last week in an interview that we had with Randy, and it really Randy Velichek. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
And I got a bee in my bonnet about it because I was like, first of all, I don't like confrontation. I don't like negativity. I don't like drama, stuff like that. That's just me personally. But this person questioned our hockey knowledge or our hockey IQ. And it really made me upset. And mainly it made me upset is because we do this podcast mainly to have fun. And, we joke around. We kind of like loosely talk about the games, or we loosely talk about things. My hockey IQ, I live, breathe, and sleep and everything hockey. All right. I coached for a very long time and all these other kind of things. If you want to sit down, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation about it, I'll school you back and forth about how deep I know this game. I love getting into arguments with Ranger fans because they're like, your team sucks. And I'm like, well, let me tell you a little bit about your team and how I can break your team down into the point that you're going to cry. But basically, I want you to know is if you guys ever have a question that you want to get answered by one of our guests, I'm more than happy to come onto our Facebook Live group, post that question. If we get a chance, we'll answer it. If you want to question our knowledge, or if you want to question our credibility, you can do that too. Write us a message, and we'd be more than happy to address it. But don't backdoor us and try to write a nasty comment that you can't back up because you don't know who I am personally. So sorry, I had to get off on that.
All right. So what did this person say? This was on Twitter. Okay, it was at Rennie _ Mindstrone, or I don't know how to pronounce it. So Steph, says interesting interview took place on his drive home after the blowout weekend, which, by the way, the Riveters won yesterday 3-2, I believe. Congratulations to Randy's first win of the season, along with the Metropolitan Riveters. I wish the interviewers were more knowledgeable with hockey so they could go in depth with questions and analysis. As it is, you can tell there's genuine confusion from Randy about the losses. Well, I have an opinion too, Beer Baron. And number one, we don't pretend to be broadcasters. We're just like three guys. We're fans. we love the Devils community. We find that the Metropolitan Riveters are an extension of that community. So we try to talk a little bit of Riveters and put a spotlight and
Tatiana
profile
Rafter on last year.
Yeah, Tatiana Rafter, and we had Randy Velishek, and I just think, I mean, number one, most of the viewers don't know this, but all three of us have coached hockey teams. Currently, Shorts Guy is Beer Baron. You coached for many years. I was actually a USA Hockey certified coach for many years, and it just, it got to be very time consuming, and obviously deal with parents. A lot of the parents were great, but it just wasn't my thing to do, and that's why I called it quits. But to say more knowledgeable, look, I'll admit I'm still learning about that women's league. I'm still learning a lot about it. We take the time and effort. Remind you that this is a Devils podcast, not a Riveters podcast, but we still make an effort to talk about Riveters hockey. And Randy Velishek took the time out of his night after, 2 losses, driving up to Montreal through the Adirondacks just to make an effort so we could talk about the team. I mean, the effort is definitely there. We try hard, but to say, these negative things about more knowledgeable, depth of questions analysis. Look, we just like to talk hockey, but we're not going to go so in depth and like, hey, Randy, the trap isn't working. Have you instituted another? He's not going to talk about that on his ride home to Montreal.
And there's other things. First of all, I want to say hi to my in-laws who are now watching. That's very interesting. No, honestly, like one of the things that it kind of bugged me was what this person doesn't understand, and I don't want anybody to go attacking this person because that's not what we're about. And the only reason and the only reason that we're bringing this up is just because it was something that we both agreed that it was something that we should address. Like if you have a question or if you want to challenge our knowledge about the game, or if you want to, have something that you're like, hey, I wish you would ask the person you were interviewing this question or that question, then just ask. We are in so many different platforms that we're very open to people responding to us. We're very open to interacting with our guests and things like that. So go ahead, ask a question. And if you really want to get down and get down to the nitty gritty about it, like my love for hockey extends into women's hockey, college hockey. You name it. If there's a puck and some sticks and people are running on skates, I don't care. If it's floor hockey, for crying out loud, I'm behind it. So. It just felt like you're questioning credibility. But anyways, let's get away from that. Let's get away from it. And let's talk about this upcoming 7-game schedule, because we have a 7-game road trip that the Devils are about to embark. And it's one of those early tests in the season that I feel like, they're going to get into either a rhythm or they're going to find hey, we need to find ourselves. But I feel like this is a good thing for the Devils to get into, because number one, when they went over to Europe, they were also talking about how all these things galvanized them as a team, being on the road, being on this long trip. And there was an interview with Taylor Hall after the Panthers game that I thought was really telling. Erica Wachter, who does an amazing job, by the way, taking over Deb Placey, who is also amazing, asked him a question about, this upcoming road trip and, how does it feel being on the road for for these 7 games. And he said it was kind of like, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the team to get together and hang out outside of the rink, because when you're at home, you play and then you go home and you can go back to your own house and your families and you have your routines that you do. When you're on a long road trip like this gives you an opportunity to talk to guys that you might normally not talk to. It gives the team a lot of an opportunity to bond. And I think that for a young team, especially with, the dynamic that they have, this is another moment that, Coach Hines is going to take to really bring everybody together. It's kind of funny because when they went over to Europe, if you watch that Beyond the Glass, there's like, a scene of a couple of the guys walking through town. Coleman was walking through the town with Zaka, I think it was. And you can tell, like, they're not just like teammates, like they're really starting to become like a family, and that kind of sentiment's been echoed throughout the locker room. And you have, older guys there like Brian Boyle, who starts to look like a father figure to like a lot of these other kids. And I know a lot of people might laugh at something like that, but it's the truth. Like they become so close because of these road trips. I think it's going to be a good thing. What their record's going to be, I don't know. There's a couple really good tests in there, but I feel like that the Devils, I'm going to put my prediction on it. These 7 games, they're going to go on the road. They're going to walk away 5-2. Or 5.
That's a big prediction.
5-1-1. 5-1-1.
That's a big prediction. And I didn't make the graphic. I didn't make the graphic, but he's on assignment right now. We have Shorts Guy on the Nova Product Design Hotline. Shorts Guy, how was the game? How was the game tonight? And what was it like to meet Steve Cangelosi in person?
Hey, Shorts Guy, I didn't know you were on.
All right, so those are 2 separate questions. So let me answer the Cangelosi question. Cangelosi was an awesome guy to meet. I gave him his podcast shirt, took a picture with him, and then he was talking about he's leaving for Tampa tomorrow, and the fact that they've got a very heavy road schedule coming up this month, and he said it's a very busy time for him this time of year because the Devils are in season, the Red Bulls are in season, so he's got multiple things that he has to work. But he was just a really good guy, really just a real gentleman to meet. That's for sure.
So, Shorts Guy, I have to ask. First of all, I have to say what's up to my brother-in-law Brian. Shorts Guy, where are you right now, and what are you doing?
I am in beautiful Kearney, New Jersey, and I'm drinking a beer.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, congratulations on the win today.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, it's the last couple of years since 2012 have been a little bit miserable sports-wise. Tonight was a bright light in a miserable sports landscape for me. To be there to watch your team win something significant is pretty wild. For those that don't know, I'm on assignment at the Red Bulls match, or I was. My other love, other than the Devils, it was wild. It's everything I hope for us in June. Put it that way. Even it. This is like winning the President's Trophy, but better. And then now it's on to the playoffs.
I think that was one of the coolest things that you said earlier was like how this is essentially like winning the President's Trophy for the Red Bulls. But you guys actually get to have that trophy with you as a fan. Is this true? They will give you guys a trophy as fans?
Well, actually, the way that it works is the trophy is given to the team by the supporters. But it's because of the way the MLS runs their schedule, the final day of the season is all the games kick off at the same time. And there was a point difference between us and Atlanta, and the Shield was staying in Toronto where Atlanta was playing. So we actually won the Shield, and we haven't gotten it yet. So one of our supporters is actually going to be sorry. One of our supporters is actually going to be going up to Toronto to go pick it up, and we will then probably hand it to the team in the next home match.
See, I think that's one of the coolest things that the MLS totally gets it, and I wish that the NHL and the Devils would step that up, is the interaction between the fans and the team. And we've talked about this at length, and I always keep pleading. I'm like, God, is there a way that we can make this happen? But I think that's one of the coolest things, that you guys are so involved with the team that it directly affects them in many different ways.
Oh, totally. And there's. I wish there wasn't such a disconnect between the Devils and the fans, but there kind of has to be, because it's just, the NHL is bigger than MLS right now, and it's I really don't know how to describe it. There is a disconnect, and I wish that wasn't there. I don't know. It's an unknown. I don't know how to explain it. They almost have to be in the MLS because of the way the league is in the sports landscape in America. But I just wish that we could have that access to the players, for the Devils.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. By the way, somebody in the Facebook group, really quick, Sam, sorry to cut you off. Gary wanted to know how he could order a T-shirt. So if you get a chance, Short Sky, if you could post that link to help him out.
No. I'll make it easier. Just go to our Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Facebook page. Go to the Let's Go Devils podcast Facebook page at Let's Go Devils podcast. On the top, you should see a shop now. Just click on that link, and you'll be able to go to the store to get a T-shirt. It's real easy, Gary. But Shorts Guy, are you fired up? Are you fired up? Are you guys actually fired up for next week's guest?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Special.
I'm pinching myself every day.
This is actually a special reminder. Next week, we have Doc Emmerich on the Let's Go Devils podcast.
By the way, if that podcast goes 5 hours, I do not care. I'm telling you right now. If we have to stay on, if he needs as much time as he needs, I don't care.
Oh yeah, no. All the listeners should prepare for an extra long podcast next week because whatever Doc Emmerich wants to talk about, Doc Emmerich can talk about. And I've been telling this to people all week. Like I never thought. Speaking of Doc Emmerich, is like, wow, this is a big deal. It's going to be a great podcast, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Dude, all I have to say is if he wants to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates for like 2.5 hours, I will let him do whatever he wants. This is like a childhood dream come true.
Today, someone told me that we have to bring up some references to Slapshot. Like an absolute favorite movie is, so we're absolutely going to have to be a reference to Slapshot next week.
Dude, I will break out my Chiefs jersey and we'll wear it next week.
I thought we're wearing ties next week. We have to look professional. Maybe
we'll wear a tuxedo.
Have your clip on. Yeah, wear a tuxedo. So, all right, Shorts Guy. Well, we're going to have to let you go. We're up against the clock right now. But, hey, thanks for calling in.
Boys. No problem, boys.
All right, great. Yeah, congratulations for tonight. That is Shorts Guy from the parking lot. Cardi, after the Red Bulls game, he's on assignment. His assignment was to give Steve Cangelosi his T-shirt.
By the way, all of our listeners, Rob, everybody else, dude, spread the word. We've had some really monster numbers this year with all you guys tuning in. Let's make it the biggest show we've ever had next week. Let's try to bring in as many people as we can. Anybody that that's even a hockey fan, not even a Devils fan, anybody that that's a hockey fan of any team can come in and listen because this is one of those people that, you're talking to like one of the biggest names in hockey, and we were privileged enough to have Doc as our play-by-play for a while. And now, he is one of the voice. He is the voice of the NHL. Let's be real. He's the voice of the NHL. So who cares if we'll even let Ranger fans on that week? But
you know what?
I can't tell you how excited I am.
I think we should share that link with every NHL team because it's Doc.
Doc.
Why not? Why not? I mean, I bet you the trolls will be out in full force, but who cares? It's Doc.
Oh, who cares?
It's Doc. Who cares? It's Doc. We'll just ignore them. Ignore those messages. But I mean, let's just think about it. We are the most commented Devils podcast in the history of New Jersey Devils podcasts.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, without you guys, without the viewers, listeners, whether it's on YouTube Live or Periscope, Twitter, and Facebook Live, without you guys, we would have the most comments. So, we just want to applaud you guys for being in the Facebook Live and coming 100%. Back every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Let's Go Devils podcast. But yes, we have Doc Emmerich on the podcast next week, and I actually have to confirm that because I hadn't talked to him in about a couple of weeks.
Dude, if you blow it after we just had this whole...
Oh, no, I can image. I'll be on the other line. Be like, he shoots his cars!
You remember those little things? We'll just have a bot where it's just Doc Emmerich quotes like playing in the background.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Hey, Doc,
Yeah,
what did
I'll
you
just
say
start
when Henry scored that goal? And we'll just play that clip over and over again.
Yeah, just over and over and over again, just to satisfy our podcast listeners. So, well, this was a great podcast. Beer Barrett.
Thank you to Lauren for coming on tonight.
Sorry,
I stole your.
Yep, and also thank you to the viewers, listeners for tuning in. Oh, Tom McConnell, how you doing? Nice to see you in the podcast chat room. Also, John and Tim, thank you very much. Thank you to our esteemed colleague Melissa for all that she does for us behind the scenes. We don't give her enough credit. A lot. I mean, she does a lot.
No joke.
Also like to thank my wife for helping me with the podcast this week. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying a couple other of our listeners. Kevin Weeks, it's good to see him. Sometimes names pop up and Gina's been there for a couple of weeks there. Thank you guys so much for popping on. My brother-in-law, my in-laws, thank you guys too.
Oh, David remembers the season 1, episode 1 when I went solo, and he still has his.
Thank you, David.
Rangers Suck confetti and his Let's Go Devils podcast signed by me. Yeah, forgot about that.
You know what?
That's great.
Like the next time I go to a Devils game, I hope I bump into any of you guys just walking around. I'm planning on going out within the next month. I'm gonna try and hit up a game. But that'd be pretty wild. And just say hi. So if you see me walking around, say hi.
Yep. And just a reminder, we're also, when you're driving to work and you're stuck in traffic, we're also on iTunes, iHeart.com, on the iHeart app. We're on Spotify. We'll be, on there. We'll put the podcast up in a couple hours. So you'll have it for your morning drive and your afternoon drive. And coming soon, we have a special announcement on the podcast. On the podcast next week. I kind of leaked it a little bit, but we will unveil at least one of our mobile apps.
Ooh.
Our mobile app, so you can listen to the podcast in the car safely. And it also has the live streaming and all of our archives, our podcasts. So is it cool to have a Let's Go Devils podcast icon, little app on your iPhone or your Android phone? And you just click it. You can listen to us all day long. And also
100%. I will definitely be in a group picture.
And Gary, you have the best suggestion of the week. Play NHL 94 live on Twitch, and you will get viewers.
No joke. I can tell you this: we need to, maybe after like the holidays are over and all that kind of stuff, and you get into that like weird lull of the NHL season in like February before the trade deadline comes up and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we could set that up where I will definitely challenge anybody on a NHL 94. For sure, man. I'm a Grizzly veteran when it comes to that game.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to message Arda and have Arda.
Sure.
Yeah,
I will definitely
have Arda do play-by-play.
Oh my god! Yeah, you know what? We should talk to Arda. I'll take him on one-on-one.
Definitely. Well, anyway, we would like to thank Laura Liff for coming on to the Let's Go Devils podcast.
Yes,
viewers,
thank you,
Short Sky for calling in. Actually, before I don't even have the closing music queued up. And I'm already ready to go. Yeah. But next week is going to be awesome. And we hope that everybody will oops, I'm looking at the wrong camera. We hope everybody just shares on Facebook.
Tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends.
Retweet on Twitter. Send people the YouTube link, our YouTube channel, so people can listen to our podcast. And also, you can listen to our podcasts, on iTunes and Spotify and iHeart app after the show.
Sharing is caring, Rob. Sharing is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm trying to play the exit music, and I can't seem to figure out how to do that. Yeah, I screwed that one up. Tell your friends, Gina. Yes, tell your friends. Well, till next time, everybody. Love your fellow Devils fans. Give them a hug. We're back on track. Big week coming up. We got Doc Emmerich next week. Happy anniversary, honey. Till next time, let's go Devils.
Peace, love, and Devils hockey.